Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director, David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, Circa, the first ever adult-only hotel and casino, is set to open its doors in downtown Las Vegas. And see how Ward 5 made the birthday of a 96-year-old retired Metro Police detective extra special. Here to discuss these topics and much more is the councilman who represents Ward 5. You know who it is, Cedric Crear. Councilman, welcome back to the program. How are you?
David, how are you? Glad to be here.
You.
6 weeks goes by
it does.
Like lightning. It's just amazing.
Happy October to you.
Happy October. Halloween's coming up. Nevada Day's coming up.
Here we are.
It's cool.
Yeah, a lot going on.
The weather's beautiful.
It is, finally.
My goodness.
Those dog days of summer, we went 170 odd days without any rain.
Any rain.
So now it's cooling off.
And it's
a little
beautiful.
bit.
Then at night, it just kind of is like the perfect at night.
Exactly.
Even throwing like a long sleeve shirt in it.
Exactly.
This is why we live in Las Vegas.
Exactly right.
Right here, October and March.
So many exciting things going on in Ward 5. Truly, we've got a great show for you today. So many things that we want to show you, things that are going to be happening very soon. You know the ward very well. Of course, you were born and raised in Ward 5. If you're not exactly sure where we're talking about, well, have no fear. We're going to show you. It's really in the heart of our city. Appropriately enough, where the 5 is there on the map, it encompasses a lot of our downtown area, and we're going to talk about that today. But then it also extends all the way out to the northwest a little bit. So if you live in that area or work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And of course, if you're a resident, you are represented by Cedric Crear, who's been on the city council now. You're going to be an old veteran of the city council.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
2 years planning commission, almost 3 years on city council. You know, I've been carrying around a badge for a couple of years now, for 5 years now at City Hall.
You know what's going on around here. So.
You know what? You learn trial by fire,
yes,
my friend, and you learn quickly.
Yes, you do.
What's going on?
Yes, that is definitely the case when you come here. So, well, this we've got to talk about right off the bat, Councilman. You posted this on Facebook. You said the new Circa Hotel will open soon, and they sent out a great invite. Can't wait for this downtown Ward property to open, as it is beautiful. And of course, that's the invitation. It was this beautiful book about Circa and had tickets inside, the invitation inside. And so I'm sure you and the missus will be checking it out when it opens to a press event and another event on the 27th, and it opens to the public on the 28th.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that invitation is very unique. Is Derek Stevens, one of the owners, he and his brother Greg jotted down a lot of his thoughts, and it's an old cliche about Vegas. You wrote a thought down on a cocktail napkin, and literally he wrote things down on a cocktail napkin, and they're inside that book. I worked in the casino business for 10 years, and I probably opened 3 or 4 casinos from ground up around the country. And I can tell you that the feeling and the excitement that you have from working in a casino and opening it up is really exhilarating. And you literally dedicate yourself for a year or two, depending on what level where you come in, to this property, because it takes so much, and you have this timeline. Here it's October 27th or October 28th, and you're shooting for that time.
You should be doing this
5 days later, 10 days later, and you're literally are just wound up. And if there's a piece of advice I want to give to all the employees that work there, is this: you think that it stops when you open, but it doesn't. Now you got to operate.
Now it's just beginning, right?
Yes.
I think, Councilman, that's an interesting thing that you say, because I hear elected officials say that all the time. You think that it's over when you win the election.
Yeah, when you win the election, right.
But now you're elected, now you got to serve. Now really the work really begins.
Now the really work begins. And so, from the valet parkers to the guest room attendants to the slot attendants to the dealers, the cocktail waitresses, the food and beverage attendants, the bussers, the aide cook, it's just so much.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I just have to applaud not only the Stevens brothers, but the entire team.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you that there are people that are working there that are probably almost sleeping there for a period of time.
We look at this right out of our office windows every day, and we know it's just been nonstop for months.
It has been. And somebody told me, I was in the community, and you can see it from my house and my neighborhood. You can see the Circa, and they said, "Man, it's open, it's done." And I said, "Look, once they close the building, they do the topping off ceremony, and then they close the building, they start moving." I always give so much credit to these construction workers. You know, it just seems like you walk in there and you see a grid on a wall someplace.
And you think, oh, this is never going to open.
This is never going to open.
Yeah. And then
these
boom.
guys, they just boom, 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 boom. They're knocking it out, and they do it. Next, one room is done, 2 rooms are done, a floor is done, a wing is done, the restaurants are open. It's just,
it's exciting.
Yeah, it's like putting together a 5,000 piece puzzle.
It is. It is literally. This is the first high-rise casino downtown in 40 years, Councilman. The last one was the Sundance, which became Fitzgerald's, which is now the D.
Which is still owned by the Stevens brothers.
By the Stevens brothers,
yeah. They've done a great job. I tell you, since they've come into Las Vegas and come into downtown, they've just put so much energy into it. You know, you can put money into it, you can put your treasure into it, but they've put their time and their talent and their heart into Las Vegas, and especially in downtown Las Vegas.
And you hit on this, Councilman. They did everything first rate.
They did.
They didn't cut a corner. It just seems like this place was to the most minute detail. Yeah. It's just top shelf.
It really is. The pools. I'm gonna say the pools are amazing. The cabanas are amazing. The Racing Sportsbook is amazing. It's from top to ceiling, and it's just great. The walkways are great. It's just, I tell you, I'm really rooting for him. I think he's going to be very successful.
October 28th, it opens to the public. The casino's going to open. I think the rest of the hotel is going to be a little bit behind that, but the casino, race book, sports book, the restaurants, many of the restaurants, they're all going to open on the 28th. The hotel operation will come a little bit after that. Nonetheless.
But it's great. Everybody's going to come down. It is a must-see when you come to Las Vegas.
Yeah, looking forward to it all the way around. And, of course, Councilman, not to be outdone, another downtown property, the Downtown Grand. They had an opening already. This took place back in September for the new Gallery Tower, a brand new tower upgrade. And this is really spectacular, too. If you haven't been over to the Downtown Grand, this is gorgeous as well.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I tell you, here's another property. Used to be the Lady Luck. Now it is a Downtown Grand that has taken 3rd Street and really expanded that whole corridor there. And they've done an amazing job. They've really put an investment into the downtown corridor once again. You know, you combine that with Circa, with the D, with the other hotels, with the Plaza, which what they're doing,
That's true,
with the El Cortez, with the Fremont, the California, Main Street Station. All these properties are really putting a lot into it. And I was talking to some of the owners of the properties, Binions, et cetera, and they were saying that during the pandemic, they did a lot of rehabilitation of the property. So if you haven't been down, I urge you to come down and take a look at these properties, because we've got some fresh and new properties. This is another one. What a great way to have a staycation, to come on downtown.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't have to leave the property, walk across the street to eat dinner, go to Triple George. And it's just great. I really applaud them.
You know, Councilman, it seemed like it was not too long ago. In fact, it was when I first started with the city. Downtown was struggling. And at the time, Mayor Oscar Goodman talked about revitalizing downtown and bringing this resurgence of the downtown, a renaissance of the downtown. And people laughed at him. Downtown's dead. It'll never come back.
No doubt.
And now look at it. Now it's the hip, cool place to be.
It is a hip, cool place. And we have so many other things that are going on ancillary to the downtown Fremont Street core experience. With the expansion of Las Vegas Boulevard, potentially what's going to happen at Cashman Field is going to help out. Well, there's a number of housing units, apartments, and condos that are coming in.
On
new restaurants, Symphony Park. We've got a couple more bars that are opening up on Main Street in California area. It really is a place to be. And with the new signage, the lighting that's going on there, it's great.
You said this, Councilman. If you haven't been downtown in a while, you need to come check it out, because there's a vibe downtown that you just don't have anywhere else. It's unique to be in the Arts District, East Fremont, around the Fremont corridor. It's got its own feel.
Yeah, I recently had lunch with the captains of the Metro in my ward, and we went over to Esther's for lunch, and we sat in behind Esther's. They have a patio back there, and it's like an alley. You aren't going to find that in downtown Summerlin or Anthem or any place. You're really eating in the back in the alley, and it was such a great time and a great experience. And Esther's was great. Chef Trees was great. The food was great. The environment was great. The weather was great. The people were great. It was just really, really cool. Like you said, you're not going to find it any other place. It's not the same downtown that
No.
you used to know. I mean,
No.
I remember we used to drive on Fremont Street, and you actually
Right.
drove on
You
Fremont
were a
Street.
kid. Yeah, you guys would cruise, right?
Yeah, you drive on Fremont Street. I bought my wife's wedding ring from Brad Jerbick's brother's jewelry store.
Brad's our old city attorney, yeah.
On Fremont Street. You pulled up, got out the car, you went over there, and you
Wow.
and he gave me a good deal.
Parallel
park.
perpendicular
Yeah,
park.
right there. And
yeah.
you would get out and you would go to the stores, wherever you wanted to go, the El Portal, the jewelry store, and it was just like another street. They had a movie theater. We used to go to a movie theater on Fremont there, and that was the Vegas that I knew. And then they built this canopy. Going, what? You think yourself as a local and a young kid, what are they doing down there, man? I can't get down there, but it's great. It was a great move then. It's a great move now. The new canopy is amazing as well. It's so vibrant and beautiful. Come to downtown.
Yeah, you got to check it out. It's so much fun stuff to see. And speaking of taking something old and making it new, this was really great. You posted this on Facebook. You said, last night I was able to see the iconic Moulin Rouge sign be re-illuminated at the Neon Museum. Such an amazing moment to revitalize history. And this is the authentic Moulin Rouge sign from the iconic hotel back in the 50s come to life again. There you are, helping the team out there turn the sign back on after all those years.
Yeah, I was almost speechless to see it. Rob McCoy and the whole team over at the Neon Boneyard Museum. It is so special to see. You walk through the La Concha Hotel or Motel. You walk through that to
That's
get
the
back.
entry
Yeah,
to
the
the
entry
Neon
is
Museum,
the
right?
old La Concha, and then you see this sign that's there, and then knowing the rich history that was there. We had one of the dancers. The original dancers from the Moulin Rouge there.
That's Clay T. White, yeah, great historian.
Yeah, great historian over at UNLV. Dee Dee Jasmine, who was one of the first dancers for the Moulin Rouge, was there. Once again, I grew up down the street, and I knew a lot of the people that either worked there, participated there. The hotel was only open for 6 months. There was a great editorial that Hank Greenspun wrote in the Las Vegas Sun. And it talked about how amazing the property is, how friendly the people are, the entertainment's top notch, the food is top notch, and it dispelled the rumors that were going on at that time.
Yeah, that's right.
About it being a place where you didn't want to go.
Right. Well, Councilman, I think for those of us who are from Las Vegas, well, you grew up here, I've been here many a year now, we know the history of the Moulin Rouge. It was the first integrated casino in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Huge step forward, 1955. And it just set the tone for opening the doors to integrated casinos across the city.
Yeah, it did. And the actual Moulin Rouge agreement was signed at the Moulin Rouge in 1960 that were there. And once again, I grew up with people who were there, who were sat at the table, and I've heard the stories about it. And not only did it change the landscape of Las Vegas, but I want to say it changed the landscape really of the country, because as the country was progressing, to have that happen in Las Vegas.
And, that was a key event.
Yeah, it was a very, very key event. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the entertainers who were there, from Frank Sinatra, played a key role.
They did in opening those
doors.
That's right.
He said, look, and if Sammy Davis Jr. can't come and perform and stay here, then I'm not performing.
Exactly.
I mean, he put himself out on the line to do that, and not many people know that story. And that's a great story that people need to know, because it wasn't. They had a lot of people who wanted it to happen.
Councilman, too, you hit on such a great thing. Those big superstars of the time, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, those guys, when they would get done performing on the Strip, they would go down to the Moulin Rouge, because there'd be a show that would start late, 2 a.m. or whatever it was. And so they'd come and hang out and see the entertainment down there. And so that brought a lot of people to the Moulin Rouge as well. And opened those doors that you're talking about.
Yeah, it was just too popular.
And
it was taking dollars away from the Strip. And I wanted to do something about it. Hold on one second.
We need to integrate too.
And so it was great. I tell you, a lot of times with the things that I do in my role as council person, I say that this is personal. This is more than just a council person who is flipping the lights on for the Moulin Rouge. It's personal.
Yeah.
right? I have a personal history with it, and it's great to see that revitalization. And the things that we do are personal. And I want the best of our community because it's my community.
Yeah. Well
And
said,
this is one of
Councilman.
them.
Well said. And folks, if you want to go see it, you want to see the actual sign brought back to life, it is at the Neon Museum.
Yeah, yeah, and plus all the other signs that are there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is
yeah.
cool. It is cool. It is a walk through history.
It is.
And what a great concept that they have, and it's just great. I love it. And you see something every time you go down there. You see something a little different.
You do.
You
do.
notice a sign that you might not have seen, and you go, "Oh, I know what that was. Oh
Right.
yeah, I saw that."
Or it's because it's a little overwhelming when you first
Yeah.
go. There's all this stuff, and if you've seen the Brilliant
right.
display too, same thing. There's all this, and so it's easy to miss maybe the first time.
Yeah.
You're just kind of on sensory overload.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Even
then
when
you
I
go
was
again.
there,
Yeah,
and I was there for
hey,
that. I looked at it and I go, "Oh, look, okay, yeah,
I remember
seeing
that.
I remember
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Sure."
Well, Councilman, that's certainly an iconic part of our history. Now we're talking about moving forward here. Our Strong Start Go Academy.
Yeah.
We have a mobile classrooms or mobile classrooms for preschoolers that go out into the neighborhoods, and we unveiled a new one on October 21st before City Council meeting. So we've got another one out there hitting the streets.
They are great. You talk about making an impact. You know, I'm a believer that we should have full day kindergarten. We should have preschool in every
Makes a huge
jurisdiction.
difference, yeah.
The earlier you can get a child to start reading and educating themselves, and the better off you're going to be by the time they're reading by third grade or fourth grade. It has to start early. And so I'm a big fan of this. And these Strong Start Go buses that go into community, literally go into community. They take kids preschool and teach them, give them opportunities to learn inside of the neighborhood. So now we have another one. Yeah, I know that it spends time in my neighborhood over on the historic west side. It's going to spend some time out on the east side of town, which is very needed.
Excellent.
And it's great. I give a lot of credit to, look, this happened before I did. I give a lot of credit to our mayor and our council for even creating the department to manage all this and do the wraparound services around it. So
Call it Youth Development and Social Innovation, a relatively new department here at the city now. Yeah.
Yep, and it was just great, and it shows that the community is care for the betterment of the community.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, very important. The city is here for the community, and that's why we're all here.
You know, Councilman, you hit something right on the head there. The city got into that not to take over for the school district or be the school district, but to enhance what the school district provides. This is preschool learning. We also have after-school learning and before-school learning to help kids, especially during this pandemic. So we're trying to fill in the spaces where the school district doesn't reach, and to complement what they do.
Right, and it's great. You have so many parents who are working parents who want the best for their kids. Sometimes they can't provide it, whether there's financial, whether it's just time that they can't put into it. And so we're here to help them with that, and also to give direction and guidance. I think it's important too, because you put a kid on a pathway to success that they can continue. And then I think once a kid believes that they can be successful,
off they go. Yeah.
Off they go.
Yeah. So
and that's
true.
what we're doing. We're planting that seed that you can be successful, and this is how you're going to get there.
Yeah, very good.
So it's great.
And Councilman, want to talk about our respite center at the homeless courtyard. This is a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
It's to help people. Timing of this couldn't have been any better, especially with the pandemic going on right now. I mean, look at this. This is a great facility for those who are really, really in need right now.
You know, the respite was a concept that we saw in Phoenix. As you know, we traveled around the country looking at homelessness and seeing what's working and what's not working. We didn't want to take good dollars and put them towards bad resources. This is a project that is taking good dollars and resources towards good resources. Respite, a lot of times you get homeless persons that check into the emergency room, they flood the emergency rooms, and they are in need of physical care, whatever that may be. We aren't talking mental care, we're talking physical care. And sometimes, they get pushed out of those hospitals because of space, because of whatever it may be, and they get dropped off at our homeless courtyard center, and some of them are still in gowns. This is a transitional facility where you can go, you can still receive physical medical care. There are doctors and nurses there. There's transitional housing, so you can have some place to stay while you're there, and also receive the wraparound services you need.
Exactly.
The mental health, the workforce development, and then the goal is to take you from there into housing.
Right, exactly.
Instead of put you back out on the street.
If you have a home, generally in your release from the hospital, you're going to go and convalesce at home and recover there. this is a location for people who, once they get out of the hospital, really don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
So now we're going to give them that place so they can convalesce,
Yeah.
rest.
Convalesce is the right word.
Right.
And it is a great facility. It's a 1-year beta test. I think it's going to be around for a long time.
I think so too.
Right? Because for one, it's something that's in our community that is vitally needed. It's filling a void.
It sure is.
It's a first, and we need to get a couple more respites around the area in order to, because there are people who have been sent out that have made their way to other parts of the city.
Exactly.
And it'd be nice to have another respite in other parts of the city
true,
as well.
Councilman. Yeah, because the downtown corridor is certainly not the only place where we have homeless in the city.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. There's a need throughout the entire valley, and we see it. And so hopefully this will go off great. We'll get a lot of support, and we can expand the program.
All right. Councilman, when you're not, cutting ribbons and welcoming, high-rise casinos, you're out rolling up your sleeves, working hard. You posted this on Facebook. Had a great morning at the Las Vegas Wash, volunteering with the Girl Scouts, planting trees. And what I love about this is that the wash isn't even in your ward.
Yeah.
So you're just out helping the community in general here.
And I tell you
with some real elbow grease.
Yeah, we did work. It wasn't. We planted, about 200 trees.
Wow.
In the upper wash there, and it was literally work. It wasn't one of the things you go and let's sip and have a couple lattes and eat a scone. You really worked, and I earned the beer that I had afterwards. Full time. You can believe that.
That's awesome.
I earned it. But it was great. The Girl Scouts have to do a community projects.
Right.
And what a great way to go out to, one, help the wash, help the environment.
It keeps the erosion down.
It keeps the erosion down, and all the wildlife that's out at the wash. If you haven't been out that way, the habitat that's there, it adds to it. And plus, it also adds to the quality of the air quality, having more plants there.
Right.
And so if you looked at the wash 20 years ago, and what it looks like today, it's really grown. And then, they're working on the lower wash now, which is another new whole set of projects that are happening. And so it was great. And, the Girl Scouts learned something new. They learn about all of that, which is great. And they get their service hours, and I'm really proud of them because the Girl Scouts put in work too. I won't say that we did all the work.
Well, they also learned that elected officials aren't afraid to work hard too, which they saw directly
rolled up
from
the sleeves, give me some gloves and a mask.
Let's plant some trees.
Let's plant some trees.
And then, Councilman, you didn't slow down there. You went to the community garden. They had a clean up there. This is a little closer to home in Ward 5. And this is amazing too because you're going to see. Look at the produce that has grown right in this community garden that these kids and others have helped grow. It's amazing.
It is. Our Doolittle Senior Center put this concept together, and it's right in the back of one of the first black fire stations that's there. We have plans for that too as well. But this garden is great, and it was great. Get Outdoors Nevada came out and helped us out with the cleanup. We picked a number of fruits, and people have their plots that they manage, and like you said, the vegetables and what are there coming out of there.
It's like wow.
We're like, wow, zucchini, asparagus, the squashes. It's amazing, and it's all fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's all
right.
fresh.
Well, if people think, well, it's Las Vegas, nothing grows here, it's too hot. But if you know what you're doing, you can have a great garden.
We've got some definite green thumbs out there.
For sure.
And they're looking for a new master gardener. Just to give a strong plug.
Yeah.
The master gardener decided to move on. We're gonna try to work with
to oversee, help teach the kids and everybody who come out to the garden on how to make things grow right.
Yep. So if someone's interested, reach out to my office 702-229-5443, and if you have an interest in being a master gardener for our gardener, we would love to have you.
I'd love to have you. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And we'll have all that information before the end of the show too, on how to reach out to the councilman. Councilman, love this too. You posted this on Facebook. Retired Metro Officer Herman Moody was given a proclamation to celebrate his 96th birthday.
And once again, like I said, these are ceremonial things that we do, but this is personal. Detective Moody has been in our community for a long time. He still lives right in the house that he's been living in probably for 40, 50 years. He was the first African-American career policeman within Metro.
It's a big deal.
That is a big deal. And we had a great ceremony with the officers of Bolden Area Command. Really big shout out to Captain Hank, who was there, who was really the driving force behind this, and to recognize Detective Moody, and you see the officers are there. We had the bagpipes there. They had a great.
That's awesome.
They had dispatch on a speaker call out his number. I think it was badge number 2.
Wow.
If you can believe that, and did a call for him and his whole family. You know, I'll tell you what too, which is very special. His family was there, and he has an extended family probably from the great grandkids to the grandkids to the daughters to the spouses, to everybody that were there, and they really came out, and I can tell you how much I appreciate that. And after we did this, I tell you, I had so many people come up to me and say, you know, Councilman, that was a really good thing that you did. Even on the responses from Facebook and people, they said that was really great. And it's very, you know what else they said, which is important, very, very well deserved.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about him.
Exactly right. He was a detective, as you said, Councilman, at 96 years old, just celebrated his 96th birthday.
Yep.
Born back in, what, 1924?
24? It must have been.
And, wow. Good
He's
for
seen
him.
a lot.
He sure has. You figure he was a young cop, what, back in the 40s?
Yeah.
During World War II, probably.
Yeah.
So
it'd be great to sit down. I didn't get a chance to have a conversation with him, but you know, you really get a chance to, we spoke, but we really get a chance to just sit down and have a conversation with those individuals, especially those that have been in Vegas for a while. Yeah. They were there throughout the whole discrimination through the process.
Sure.
And now to see where it is today and how integrated everybody is and how integrated society is nowadays, it's got to be a whole nother, looking at a whole different ballgame. I'm sure they thought 40 years ago, 50 years ago, this would never happen.
And just in the course of his lifetime, the change. So, well, happy birthday,
Yeah,
Detective
happy
Moody.
birthday.
Wishing you many, many more. So, well, Councilman, this show always goes fast.
It
so
does.
We have to tell everybody, you know, we're out of time, but we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilman Crear, you can find him on Facebook and Twitter. He's also pretty active on Instagram as well. You can also pick up the telephone. The number is 702-229-6405. You can reach him that way, or you can send him an email. We do a lot of email here at the city. His address is ccrear@lasvegasnevada.gov, and he or one of his great staff get right back to you. So
Thank you.
good to see you.
Once again.
We'll do this again in 6 weeks.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more to talk about. We have a lot happening. We've got a lot of things on the horizon.
We do. It's
a lot
an
of good
exciting
stuff.
time, and we'll have an update with everything going on in Ward 5 in
Yep.
6 weeks. All right.
Yep, great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Councilman. Great to see you again. Don't miss our next show beginning on October 29th with Ward 6 Councilwoman Michelle Fiore. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around. Please stay safe.